We searched for a man named Jim Sonnett. And the legends folks tell may be true. Most call him gunman and killer. He's my son, who I hardly knew. I raised Jim's boy from the cradle. Till the day he said to me, I have to go find my father. And I reckoned that's how it should be. So we ride, Jim's boy and me. You know, I done a little figuring this morning, and I calculate we ought to think about settling down somewhere for a couple of weeks, find us some work.
Might be running out of money, Grandpa?
Well, not out, just low. Say, what's the name of this here town anyways? I lose track.
Larkin.
Larkin, huh?
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks and 4 days without a sign of James. Yeah. Eat this. I ain't touched it.
You eat it. You haven't been eating like you should anyway. Eat up. Come on.
Look, I don't need no young'un to tell me how to put a fork to my mouth. Where's that newspaper at?
You know, it's only 3 days old. Already you've looked at least 6 or 7 times.
Come on, give it to me. Might not mention James in here, but it could have something that he might be reading at the same time as us. You know, that's how we near caught up with him in Plainsville. Him and us reading the same paper article. About Al Conquest. Remember that? Al Conquest being hurt?
Mm-hmm.
We just missed James by a couple of hours that time, didn't we?
Well, anyway, what the hell do you expect? That's newspaper business, isn't it? Now remember, boys, I'm buying. Do you hear that? You hear me, George? I'm buying today. Actually, I should say Jim Sonnett is buying.
Well, how often do I get a chance to get Sonnett's name in a headline, eh? He sells papers, right?
You setting up Jim Sonnett for the sake of peddling extra papers, Quiller?
Now, however do you mean?
Sonnett does come to Larkin to give evidence for that fella Coley Flynn tomorrow. He could get himself killed, couldn't he?
I couldn't possibly say, my friend.
I'd like to buy one of your papers, mister.
Oh, sure. Haven't you seen a copy of the Clarion yet, friend?
We just rode in.
Oh, there you are. No charge. My friend, if you're a stranger here, I don't think that paper's going to bring you quite up to date. You see, if that little man in the jail was telling me the truth when I wrote that article, he's not guilty. And if he's not guilty, then it's got to be Walt Granger. And I don't think Walt will take too kindly to Jim Sonnett coming here to give evidence. What do you think, boys?
Cracks with him's what he'll do. That'll sure enough sell some papers. Walt Granger's the toughest foreman and the biggest ranch in the county. He's got about 15 guns behind him and the sheriff in his back pocket. If Sonnett comes, he's walking right into the biggest reception party you ever saw tomorrow morning.
So, enjoy the paper, my friend.
You'll come back to testify, Grandpa?
If that fella in jail's telling the truth, and James can testify to him being innocent, then you just bet your life he'll be here in the morning. You got a fella in here calls yourself Coley Flynn. I was wondering if when you was questioning him, he said anything about coming from Lincoln, Nebraska.
Wouldn't know. Didn't question him. No need to. He just plain killed a man and got himself caught. No need to ask questions, is there? I expect you'd be a lawman?
Well, then, you guess you get no objection to me asking him a couple of things, huh?
I don't know. About what?
Well, for one thing, about a couple of barn burnings back in Lincoln.
Look, mister, he's going to hang right here in Larkin. No need to wonder if he's a firebug in Nebraska.
Well, that's fine. Since you got your case all wrapped up, you won't mind me taking a couple of minutes of his time. You mind opening that door there?
Well, I guess it wouldn't hurt nothing now. And I'll have to come with you. Park your guns out here.
Yeah.
He's here, a couple of lawmen from Nebraska. Expect they'd like a statement from you about them barns you burned.
I didn't burn no barns.
Where was you and that James Sonnett last October 16th if you want in Lincoln County?
October?
16th.
With James Sonnett.
I don't exactly remember. But I know it wasn't with Jim Sonnett. It couldn't have been. I just seen him the one time. The night Walt Granger killed my partner, Bud Sprague.
There he goes again, that same old lie about Walt.
Walt Granger's his brother-in-law. You can see nobody's going to believe me. Unless Jim Sonnett comes back.
You expecting us to believe you never set eyes on James Sonnett before that night?
Swear to God, mister. Bud and me was hightailing for town with Walt Granger right behind us, firing at us every other step of the way, because he was down on Bud for something, see? We rode into where Jim had made camp in a stand of oak by a little creek. And we recognized him right off from the poster, see? And he run out to help us, and he fired off a couple of shots at Granger. He didn't mean to hit him, though, because he didn't really know what was going on, see? And when Granger saw Sonnett, why, he hauled in on his horse and tore off. Didn't notice till then that Bud had been hit. Sonnett and me took care of him that night. I took him into town, but he was dead. They arrested me right off, though, because Granger had it rigged with his men to say he'd never left the camp the night before. But Sonnett didn't even know that Bud had died. Guess he just rode off Summers. I sure hope he reads the newspapers. Because they're sure enough going to hang me tomorrow if Sonnett don't show up in court today.
Hey, boys. I want a man on every road, trail, and cow path leading into here. Me and some of the boys have been through town. Sonnett ain't around yet. But we don't need his kind in our town. You boys take care of the roads coming in. Me and the others will take care of the town streets and the courthouse. Let's go.
So you think if I was to drive across that bridge, it might break it down?
No, I didn't exactly say that. I just mentioned that last big rain. You know, a rain like that puts a fair strain on a wooden bridge.
We ain't had no rain recently.
Look, all I know is they sent me out from town to warn folks about this here bridge. Now, what are you carrying in them barrels? They heavy?
Household goods, mostly. We're moving to town. I got some pots and pans and some blankets and stuff like that there. What's it to you?
Well, the whole load likely to weigh more than a ton and a half, you suppose?
Well, couldn't say. I didn't weigh it.
Oh, of course not.
Hey there, what?
Well, I think you're all right. That one won't go more than 70 pounds. That one, 150. Mister, I think you're in luck.
You think it's all right, then?
Practically guarantee it.
Well, thank you. Hiya.
Nothing?
Oh, nothing, just an old man in a hearse.
What? A hearse? Dad blasted, I should have warned you. Remember that time we heard James was used a hearse in Aberdeen to get past the posse? He was hiding in a casket. Did you get a look-see in the casket?
Well, no, sir.
Well, how long ago did it go by?
Well, maybe 15, 20 minutes ago.
Let's see if we can catch up.
not until tomorrow.
You got it all mixed up, friend. Trial's today, hanging's tomorrow.
I've got nothing to do with no hanging. Just passing through. Who you got in there? Some dead fella, Mr. Undertaker? Nobody. Ain't nobody in there. Oh, you got the curtains pulled. There must be somebody in there, Mr. Undertaker. I told you there wasn't anybody in there. Casket's empty, huh? It's empty. You guarantee me there's nobody in that pine box, my friend? I guarantee you. Empty. All right. Boys? Let's give the next passenger in that box a little air. Well, Jim Sonnett ain't in a hearse, and he ain't in the courthouse. I'm beginning to think he ain't coming. Everybody off the streets. I want men front and rear of this court building. You boys up on the roofs, you stay there. I don't want no surprises at this trial. You two better stay clear. Get off the streets.
Like it scared me to death, Grandpa. I thought for sure he was in that hearse.
Oh, you did you? Well, he might just be at that.
Well, but we saw the inside of that coffin.
Sure, so did all them fellas with Granger. Now, look, when we hit that tie rail over there, you just keep your eye peeled for that old hearse.
See that, Grandpa?
I seen.
He got in. I wonder how he's going to get out.
Well, he may just walk out and everything will be peaceful as can be. And on the other hand, he might need all the help we can give him. I tell you what we do, George.
So the fact is, Mr. Flynn, you were the last person to see the deceased man alive. When you appeared at the doctor's office, Bud Sprague had been dead for some time. It appears the state has a very good case. What say you, sir?
Well, sir, Judge, me and Bud was partners. We grew up together. We'd been riding fence when we found somebody wired off the water hole. There was enough barbed wire around that water to keep out the whole U.S. cavalry. And it belonged to Bud, too, that water. Well, Bud liked to hit the sky when he saw all that barbed wire. He fetched his cutters and just about had it cleaned out. We seen Walt Granger coming. Walt had himself a rifle, and he commenced firing before we could even climb into the set. Mr. Sonnett, you seen the newspaper.
Excuse me for coming in this way, Your Honor. My name is Sonnett. James Sonnett.
Drop it.
So you see, Your Honor, although I don't know the man I'm testifying for, I did see the shooting. I've been accused of many things in my time, but I've never been known to lie.
And you can identify the man who did the shooting, can you?
Yes, sir, I can.
Please point him out, Mr. Sonnett.
That man, Your Honor.
Sheriff, put that man in custody. The defense witness will be honored by this court.
Are the charges against this man dismissed?
He's free to go.
Order. Order in the court.
Jim Sonnett's in there and he ain't gonna get out. Now somebody go get the horse. Surround the building.
All right, go. Ain't up, man.
He's in the coach.
We ain't gonna make up that head start in one long run, Jeff.
Oh, I guess I'm just a little over anxious, Grandpa.
Well,
Hey, look, these here wheel tracks are still clear, though.
I guess it wouldn't hurt to lope a ways.
No, sir. Hey, look, Grandpa. How about that trail over there? I bet we could cut them off by going that way, huh?
That looks good. Come on. My name is Sonnett. I'm Will, and this here's Jeff. You in there, James?
Will Sonnett? You the daddy?
That's a fact. This here's your son.
Why doesn't he come out? He is in there, isn't he?
No, he isn't, son.
We took him to where his horse was tied, and we seen there wasn't nobody following, so we figured we didn't need him.
How far back was that?
20 minutes, half hour ago.
I don't suppose he said where he was heading.
Matter of fact, he didn't. Say, you looking for him, are you?
Yes, sir. We're looking for him.
We have to keep on riding, Lord, to find the one we seek. But we helped a man in need today and commend him to your keep.